Hello there, it's me. A few months ago, Elon Musk said that the first crewed Starship flight could take place in just 6 months. And this was before the recent successful test launch. So maybe it will even happen earlier. Of course, we all know that SpaceX's ultimate goal with Starship is to make life multiplanetary. But what will these settlements actually look like? What will they be used for, and how will people live there? How will we move around? One option is to use rovers, which have been used extensively on Mars by NASA's Curiosity and Perseverance rovers. These rovers are great for exploring the surface, but they're not really designed for transporting large amounts of cargo. Being away from Earth and the people and things we love will be incredibly difficult. How will we actually live on Mars? Let us know your thoughts, and thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy our stories, please consider subscribing and supporting us so that we can keep you updated on all of the latest developments in space exploration. And let's return to the space race. It's important to remember that the first people to settle on Mars will be pioneers in the truest sense of the word. They will be venturing into the unknown and will need to be prepared for anything. We can learn a lot from the people who have lived in remote locations here on Earth, such as those who have spent extended periods of time in Antarctica. By studying how people cope with isolation and confinement, we can develop strategies for keeping the first Martian settlers happy and healthy. Another option is to use drones, which could be especially useful for surveying areas of interest before landing a rover there. But ultimately, if we want to establish a permanent presence on Mars, we'll need to find a way to transport people and cargo more efficiently. One possibility is to create a system of tunnels that connect different parts of the planet. This would allow us to travel quickly and easily between different locations without having to worry about the harsh radiation and cold temperatures. In today's video, we'll answer these questions and many more. Let's go. We can't just pack enough food to sustain us for an entire year on Mars. We'll need to find a way to grow our own food there. One possibility is to use hydroponic gardening, which is already being done on the International Space Station. This involves growing plants in water rather than soil, which is ideal for space because it takes up less space and uses fewer resources. Another option is to use Martian regolith to grow plants. NASA's already tested this and found that when mixed with other ingredients, it can create a suitable soil for growing plants. The first human settlements on Mars won't look like traditional cities. They'll most likely resemble research bases like the ones we have in Antarctica. The planet doesn't have a protective ozone layer like Earth does, meaning that it's bombarded by harmful radiation from the sun. This makes it very difficult for humans to survive on the surface for long periods of time. To protect against radiation, the first Martian settlements will need to be built underground or inside large domes. Another challenge is that Mars is a very cold planet. Average surface temperature is about -63 degrees Celsius. It's about -82 degrees Fahrenheit. To survive on Mars, we'll need to find ways to keep warm in these conditions. One possibility is to build our bases out of ice, which is abundant on Mars. We could use the ice to create a sort of igloo-like structure that would provide us with a natural insulator. Another option is to build our bases out of the regolith, which is the loose dust and rock that covers the surface of Mars. Regolith can be mixed with a binding agent to create a type of concrete that can be used to build structures. These bases are typically small, self-contained facilities with everything from living quarters to laboratories and workshops. Some bases even have hydroponic gardens to grow fresh food. The main purpose of these bases is to support scientific research, which is also likely to be the primary purpose of the first Mars bases. One of the biggest challenges of living on Mars is staying safe. But let us imagine that we've successfully built our base, and we are now ready to start exploring the surface of Mars. Of course, no discussion of life on Mars would be complete without talking about food. Perhaps the biggest challenge of living on Mars is the psychological toll it will take on the first settlers. So what do you think?